friends in AA and of AA, I feel I would be very remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to welcome you here to Cleveland, not only to this meeting, but those that have already transpired. I hope very much that they have the presence of so many people and the word that you have heard will prove an inspiration to you, not only to you, but may you be able to impart that inspiration to the boys and girls back home who are not fortunate enough to be able to come. In other words, we hope that your visit here has been both enjoyable and profitable. I get a big thrill out of looking over a vast sea of faces like this with the feeling that possibly some small thing that I did a number of years ago played a small part in making this meeting possible. I also get quite a thrill when I think that we all had the same problem. We all did the same things. We all got the same results in proportion to our zeal and enthusiasm and stick-to-itiveness. If you will pardon the injection of a personal note at this time, let me say that I've been in bed 5 of the last 7 months, and my strength hasn't returned as I'd like, so my remarks will of necessity be very brief. But there are 2 or 3 things that flashed into my mind on which it would be fitting to lay a little emphasis. One is the simplicity of our program. Let's not louse it all up with Freudian complexes and things that are interesting to the scientific mind but have very little to do with our actual AA work. Our 12 steps, when simmered down to the last, resolve themselves into the words love and service. We understand what love is, and we understand what service is. So let's bear those 2 things in mind. Let us also remember to guard that erring member of the tongue. And if we must use it, let's use it with kindness and consideration and tolerance. And one more thing, none of us would be here today if somebody hadn't taken time to explain things to us, to give us a little pat on the back, to take us to a meeting or two, to have done numerous little kind and thoughtful acts in our behalf. So let us never get the degree of smug complacency so that we're not willing to extend or attempt to that help that has been so beneficial to us, to our less fortunate brother. Thank you very much.
Behold, an angel made evident for the purpose of bringing you information, good news. Let us first begin with a moment of reflection, allowing ourselves to come into the presence of the Lord. Robert Holbrook Smith, Dr.Bob, made the remarks you just heard at the convocation of men and women who were met in Cleveland, Ohio for the purpose of celebrating the 15th anniversary of the society known as Alcoholics Anonymous. It was the last talk that Bob Smith would give at an AA meeting. He died 4 months later, November of 1950. But shortly after his talk, he received a letter from a young doctor in Buffalo, New York. I would like to read you that letter. Dear Sir, a former classmate of yours at Rush, Phil Quinn, suggested that I contact you regarding a problem I have with my drinking. He was my psych professor, and he's aware of my difficulty, and he happens to also be my analyst. He knows of your success in recovering from a similar challenge and is very supportive of your work in this area. I have a general practice in Buffalo, and I have tried the AA program, but with little to no success. What am I missing? I attended the recent convention in Cleveland with the hope of meeting you to ask for your help. I was unaware of your health problems, and I only realized how ill you were when I heard your presentation. I can fully understand why your talk was brief, and I hope that you've had a successful recovery. If I could get down to Akron for a day, do you think it would be possible for us to get together? I'd like to hear more about you and your ability in overcoming our shared condition. How is it possible that men like us, with half a brain, can't seem to get a handle on our drinking? How do we allow ourselves to become so overwhelmed by this cursed obsession? I have even resorted to using some of the recently developed drugs as an alternative to alcohol, and it has only confused and worsened my condition. Plus, I believe that the combination of drugs and alcohol can be quite damaging overall. I hope that more studies can be made before they're offered as a palliation, a cure, to a world full of alcoholics. If you're unable to meet with me, could you suggest a surrogate? I will go anywhere and given enough advance notice at any time. Please know that I will understand if my request can't be granted. I realize that you're under no obligations to help me, but if you could, I'd be extremely grateful. Again, I would like to join Dr. Quinn in extending our admiration for the fine work you're doing. Sincerely, John Fay, M.D. Dr. Smith was unable to meet with the young man, but he did write to him a few days after receiving his letter, and he did offer to help. He had regretted that his talk at the Cleveland meeting was limited due to his illness. He always held out the hope that he could someday find a way to extend his remarks and tell his story to people like the young doctor from New York in a more direct way. He prayed for the second chance, but his prayers could only be answered in a dream that occurred just moments before he passed away. In the dream, he was able to escape from his life of pain and suffering and meet and talk to the young doctor. And now, in this reenactment of that Scapedream, he talks to you and to all of us. Before I welcome you to Dr. Bob's dream, I have to get some housekeeping out of the way. We angels are of one dimension, no form and substance. We're ethereal, we're heavenly. So what we do, I'm going to let you in a little angel secrets here. We borrow bodies. We catch somebody asleep and we need the body, we borrow it. We use that for a time. This fellow right now is sleeping his way through a concepts meeting at an AA convention. So I've got him for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. So I'm going to play another human being. You need a large ego, so I got a large form. I just hope he doesn't snore during this presentation. One other thing, I'm not an actor in any way, shape, or form, and I tried to get some help up here in heaven, but acting